Forget Olden Era, let's return to Heroes 2. Let's rediscover together what made this franchise so great, and what Olden Era could do to try to get even remotely close to this title right here. We're gonna play a standard scenario, which involves wizards. You've been apprenticed to your master for years, but now you've found out that he has sinister plans for you. That's it. Pretty straightforward. Let's play on normal. Let's have a casual experience today. So your master's castle is somewhere to the northeast, but your current power is completely insufficient to defeat him. So hurry up and gather strength. And that's it. And now we can play the game, as opposed to, Olden Era's campaign or these newer games that just kind of handhold you too much, and they just interrupt everything with stupid dialogue that's also kind of poorly written and feels a little bit cringe. But here, no, Commander, this is what you need to do, or Lord, or whatever. And that's it. Now we play the game. So good, so easy. Anyway, we have Solmir, interesting, the wizard, with some rogues. And also, every creature has, a few stats, and just maybe one special ability or none whatsoever. In this case, the rogue with no enemy retaliation. Simple enough. The spells are pretty cool, and some of them are really broken, but that's only adding to the PvE experience for sure. And we have secondary skills, as opposed to Heroes 1, which you've seen in a different video on this channel for sure. And this is it. Everything's so readable, by the way. Again, there's not too much fluff as opposed to Olden Era. A rich desert land lies just offshore to the north. Also, a strange decision to not have a tavern in Olden Era, but I'm sure it's gonna come later, right? It's just early access, boys. It's gonna become better in time. Yeah? You know what the early access for Heroes 2 has been? Heroes 1. And it's great, as opposed to what we got when it comes to Olden Era, but it is what it is. Anyway. Thieves' Guild also misses entirely from that game, so it is what it is. Now, there's one thing that's kind of stupid when it comes to Heroes 2, for example, but anyway, the rogue leader comes out of the wagon and assures you that his followers are always available to you, as long as the money flows into his pocket. He also offers to sell you a pair of magical boots. Well, this is already super good, super good. This scenario right here blows the entire Olden Era campaign that we have had so far. That's crazy. That's crazy. Anyway, so there we go. We got something. So we can move more. So yeah, back to what I was saying. There's one thing that's kind of stupid, but it's a hidden mechanic. Most people are not aware of it. But apparently, in Heroes 2, and I kid you not, this is actually how it works. Your hero's movement is gonna be affected by the slowest guy in your army from the previous day. Meaning, let's say this guy, speed slow. If I keep this guy in my army, I'm going to move slower. I'm going to have fewer movement points tomorrow than if I would just ditch him. That's crazy. You want to see proof? Here we go. Move points, 1400, right? Let's dismiss the slow boys. And also these guys as well, slow as well. Boom. Now we have very fast and fast. Guess what? Boom, 1600. Now that's the stupidest thing I've ever seen, right? So I'm not going to pretend that, Heroes 2 is some perfect game, because it's not, definitely, but still. Anyway, let's get some rogues right here. Easy enough. After 30-something years, these graphics still hold up, right? It's just for eternity, this game's gonna be pretty. Olden Era, dude, it's obsolete right now in terms of graphics. Imagine in 30 more years. It's not gonna age very well. You decide that you need to learn more about this area in order to proceed effectively. You need some of your rogues to scout ahead. Right. Sure. Whatever. Let's go in to our first battle against the peasants. Let's just show it, just because. Now, obviously, the battleground is a bit smaller than Olden Era or Heroes 3, which, from my point of view is a good thing, because each battle takes a bit less time, and you can progress through the game a bit faster. Now, obviously, I'm playing a modified version of the game. It's technically a recreation, and we have a quick combat, which wasn't actually present in the original, but this speeds things up considerably. If we would have had that back in the day, it would have been interesting. I don't think there was a technical limitation that prevented this. I don't think they thought of it, to be honest with you. But still, a welcomed addition. Anyway, here we go. Boom. Right, there we go. Who would have thought? We would destroy these guys. Pretty much everybody. Anyway, interestingly enough, compared to Heroes 1, Heroes 2 has a lot of extra things, especially the secondary skills, which are absent, or at least some of them are hidden, in a sense. In Heroes 1, you don't have wisdom, you don't have all these things like ballistics and stuff like that, or leadership, which is kind of interesting, because they only had like 1 year of development time between Heroes 1 and 2, and they've added so much stuff, making it near a perfect game. That's incredible. The first scouts return already. One says that the halfling town is just to the east. The other tells that the fairies have set up their court and the glade to the north, but they let no one in. Oh, there you go. More peasants. I'm not going to bother with this. So, we just get the sawmill, just like that. Also, even small things like this, like, for example, a throng of halflings, I kind of prefer this, even though, like, obviously, you eventually know what these numbers mean, like, throng is between 100 and 249, but I feel like it's just kind of takes away from the immersion if I see, oh, between 100 and 249 halflings. No, throng, or lots, or few, several, swarm, legion, stuff like that. It's just these tiny things just add a lot. It's clear that the original creator, that guy John Van Kennehem, actually knew what he was doing, right? He understood what made these games great. It also helped that he had way more experience than everybody involved in the Olden Era project, but it is what it is. More scouts return. They tell that the main production facilities of this region are located slightly further to the east. There's a sawmill near a stretch of forest, and to the east is a small mountain cluster rich with ore and gold. It is operated by not-so-friendly dwarves, and you can even see the cracks in the ground from their work. Also, a river flows from these mountains, and there is a water wheel beside it. Now, this is maybe overly descriptive, but I would still prefer this to some cringe dialogue. Peak millennial writing that I don't quite enjoy, necessarily. Lots of battle dwarves. Look at that. Alright, I'm not going to bother with this too much. And the secondary skills, which don't have sub-skills and stuff like that. It's not overly complicated. It's easy. It's very straightforward. But obviously, some things are really bad, like scouting, for example. But that doesn't matter. I don't think the game needs to be balanced in any way, shape, or form. Actually, the more you balance a game, maybe the more tedious it actually becomes, and the experience is going to be a bit lackluster. Like, if this game would have been balanced in such a way that knights would be stronger, or warlocks and wizards would be nerfed, it would have been worse, and maybe it wouldn't have held up so well. Lots of dwarves, boom. How? But whatever, I'll take it. Another scout returns from the north and tells that Mandalis has hired some mercenaries to do his dirty work. However, they have not been paid in months, and are quite angry and unreceptive. Their encampment is to the north of Fairy Court. Yes, Fairy Court, my favorite. Your rogue followers have been up to no good again, but you chose to overlook their behavior in light of your current needs. And we got some gold, right? Even this small flavor text adds a lot to the immersion. Like, an old knight appears on the steps of the gazebo. My liege, I will teach you all that I know to aid you in your travels, right? Something like that. Now, obviously, in Olden Era, there's always this defense of, oh, it's early access, bro, they're gonna add this later. Yeah, but I feel like this should have been the priority. Why would you add the most important things later? It makes no sense, right? Unless that's not the priority, which it doesn't seem to be the case, right? Leadership, of course. Oh, and by the way, these secondary skills, I'm just gonna assume that you don't necessarily remember, but leadership increases the morale of the troops, meaning that there's a slightly higher chance that they will get an extra turn. Look at this. Positive morale may give the hero's units extra attacks in combat. Well, there you go. Pretty interesting. And basic pathfinding reduces the movement penalty for rough terrain by 25%. So, you know, if you would move on desert or stuff like that, you would move a bit less. Not that it matters that much, because overly optimizing all these things is kind of like one of those dork activities, like, you know, that nobody really cares about. You move through the mountain pass. The area beyond is lifeless wilderness. No living thing seems to make its home here or there. Yep. There we go, we see the Oracle. And this guy is pretty strong. He has Titans and a bunch of stats. That's kind of crazy. But, he's never going to leave his castle, so we have time. Oh, and also, look at this. We have ghosts. Ghosts are the most broken unit imaginable, because anything that the ghosts destroy become ghosts themselves. So, needless to say, that's the most ridiculous thing that you could face. These guys are insanely strong. So obviously, in Olden Era, we will never get something like this, because it's not balanced, bro. It's not, for PvP purposes, you cannot have that. Well, yeah, but that sucks, doesn't it? Why not, man? A scout arrives from the northeast and tells that a small family of dragons lives in a ravine there. The dragon's lair is rumored to be filled with gold and gems, and to contain an enchanted sword. The dragons also force a local goblin tribe, the Nosebones, to operate a gold mine in the nearby hills. Now, this is not necessarily indicative of every map in the game. A lot of them don't have this many descriptions, so this might be a bit overkill, but I will take this any day. Throng of Skeletons. Can we actually do this? Probably not. Never mind. Every once in a while we should come back here just to hire everything and get a little bit stronger. Too bad we don't have extra heroes, but it's just the map itself. A tired-looking scout comes from the north. He says that there is a willow grove and a forest where primitive druids worship lightning. They operate a gem mine nearby in order to provide gems for the forest unicorns. To the north of the mine is a small enchanted forest where many ancient trees stand. A scout arrives from the northern shore. He says that the beach is apparently popular with orcish witch doctors who have set up their huts there. Further along the beach is a town called Blue Tower. It is defended by fearsome creatures such as dragons and hydras. So Warlock, I see. And yes, Here's 2 is extremely unbalanced, right? The Warlocks are clearly the strongest faction, while the Knights, unfortunately, are really bad. And no, don't overthink it. No, just because they're cheap, that doesn't mean they're good or whatever, because creature growth is very limited in this game. Like, for example, with the Wizards, you can get 8 boars per week, 6 iron golems or stuff like that, whatever. 4 rocks or something like that. And unfortunately, when it comes to the Mountain Knights, even though they're cheap, you can hire all of them, and then you're going to get obliterated because the enemies are always going to be stronger, right? So it doesn't matter, like cost effectiveness or stuff like that doesn't even matter, or comparing these things like, oh, well, if you would use that money that you need for 3 titans to buy paladins, obviously you would get so many paladins that would destroy your 3 titans. Well, yeah, nice story, bro, but you can't hire that many paladins. So what are you going to do? Realistically, you're going to have just a surplus of money. So, yeah, it's not that knights are good because they're cheap. No, they're cheap because they're bad. But that doesn't matter, really, because the game is still good. It doesn't need to be balanced, and I would argue that if it would have been balanced, it would have been actually worse. Because, the easiest way to balance things out would be to nerf the Warlocks as opposed to buffing the Knights. So it would have been all bad. Speaking of Knights, Crusader growth +5. And even that is not going to help them. But still, the first scout from the wasteland comes today. He tells that it is barren and empty for miles, riddled with sharp crags with narrow passes. The few travelers there say that a town lies in the eastern reaches named the Yellow Stone. It was recently taken over by Mandalis's minions, who have hired the ogres of the Golden Horn tribe to guard the entrance. Now, I didn't pay attention to all that, but it doesn't really matter. Wizards market, spell ingredients, resources, and other goods. Right, curse. It's pretty good. Actually, now that I think about it, does Olden Era even have a curse spell? I don't think so. These are the druids that I was looking for. Yes, we can get a ton of spell power and knowledge there. But first, let me get the halfling army from this place. This is such an easy, chill map. You approach the halfling town. Some halflings are apparently still loyal to Mandalis. Now, you know that Olden Era would have had some stupid text like, "Halt! In the name of Mandalis," or something like that. "You cannot pass." And then some cringe dialogue where Aerie says, "Well, good thing I have my lucky boots with me, and surrender or else prepare for trouble and make it double." And, no, man, this is better. Jesus Christ. Anyway. Maybe it's just a placeholder. Maybe it's legitimately just, early access stuff. Anyway, Throng of Halflings. Boom. Well, that's kind of bad. I don't know what to say about this. Shield is kind of interesting. Maybe we can shield a Halfling, which reduces the incoming ranged damage by 50%. So that's insanely strong, right? This would never be a spell in Olden Era, unfortunately. Or I don't think so, anyway. 8 Halflings perish. That's fine. Oh, that's interesting. And also, what I kind of like about Heroes 2 compared to Heroes 3 and onwards would be that ranged guys, they always shoot at full range, There's no broken arrow like in the other games, where even flying units can always reach their target unless they're slowed, but that's, more circumstantial, So it's way more straightforward. It's kind of, I think this is how King's Bounty was initially, I think, but don't quote me on that. That's fine. This guy will never reach, by the way, but it is what it is. Anyway, there we go. Was it better? Probably not. But do I care? Also no. You tell the remaining halflings how Mandalis has betrayed you, and that he cannot be trusted. The halflings, moved by your words, agree to send their warriors with you. Sure, I'll roll with it. Alright, estates and ballistics. I'm gonna go with the money, because ballistics might not come into play at all. Soon-ish, anyway. 2 more scouts. Okay, I'm kind of getting tired of this, but still. 2 more scouts from the wasteland arrived today. One tells us that part of the northern waste is inhabited by green-bellied trolls. Also nearby is the great city of the fearsome dragon masters. The other scout says that he managed to slip past the eastern ogre guards, and there seems to be an area of the wasteland unreachable by any means. Right. We'll worry about that when we get there, anyway. A ragged, bloody scout staggers into your camp today. After your healers tend to him, he gasps that he is the last of a scout party. As they approached the northeastern part of the wasteland, they were assaulted by many orcs, giants, and titans. He was the only one who escaped alive. Obviously, these monsters must be the guardians of Mandalis' castle. Let's fight the sprites. You know what? I'm not gonna pursue and engage them. That's fine. Alright, says the Fairy King. You'll get your assistance. Just don't hurt us anymore. Right. Well. Let's get 74 sprites. That's crazy. What am I gonna do with all this money, though? Nobody knows yet. If I could get diplomacy, that would be great. But first, let's fight these. You see a group of druids worshipping near the standing stones. They don't seem happy with you for interrupting their rites. Behind the druids, you spy a big 4-leaf clover. Hey, that's kind of good, actually. Wow, that's crazy. Really? Are you sure about that? How about, I don't know, a shield? Shield, boy. Oh, there you go. How about morale as well? Morale normal. Wait. That's not good. That's not good. I understand. Never mind. Quick combat it is. I somehow lost more. What? Anyway, pathfinding it is. Yes. More luck. Which gives us the possibility to get double damage. That's not too bad, right? What do we have here? Horde of swordsmen. As you approach the mercenary encampment, their captain shouts, "We ain't having anything to do with you, mageling. You can't even lift a sword in battle. It seems you will have to earn some respect the hard way." Alright, well that's, that's kind of Olden Era-esque, I would say. So, yeah. What even is this, man? Yes, the swordsmen. The 3.5 tier knight unit. You know what? Bless this guy, ensuring the maximum damage, and the sprites have no retaliation, so you know it's gonna be good. I'm not quite sure where these guys are going, but I'll accept that. Are they going for the golem? Is that... okay. That is interesting. Let me bless this guy. It's actually way better. Probably like, what is that? That's like 50% more damage, in short. Not bad, right? Look at that! They're going for that guy. What? 9. Look at that. Boom. Alright. Get out of here. Oh, a trusty stone skin. More defense. It's gonna be great. Oh, and also, one thing that I like about these games is that nothing is too complicated. Like, for example, you can calculate how much damage somebody deals. Like, for example, based on the attack skill of the attacker and the defense skill of the defender, you can calculate exactly what the damage is going to be dealt. But in Olden Era, no, it's going to be it's a ratio anyway. It's something like attacker's attack skill divided by the defender's defense skill or something like that, or I don't know. But there's almost no way to do it in your head, and that's kind of bad. Anyway, they are dead. Nice one. Nice. Logistics. More movement points. That's nice and all. Let's do that. Well, it seems you won this time, Mageling, says the mercenary captain. Maybe all wizards aren't wimps after all. We'll teach you some offensive tactics if you step right there. Yeah, I think maybe it's just the dialogue that just is very difficult to write, or it's very easy to make it feel kind of cringe. I'm not sure. Anyway. So, we get a ton more attack, which is insane. Even this, I don't think I've seen something like this, like Week of the Unicorns, where the unicorn population doubles. Have I seen that in Olden Era? I don't think so. And that is kinda bad. What about the obelisks? Also, this is a change that I'm not super fond of. Like, they've added the Grail in Here's 3 and Here's 5 and onwards. Where if you find the treasure, if you discover the map and dig, you get... instead of getting an ultimate artifact, which is insanely strong, like giving you 12 attack, 12 spell power, whatever, right? No, you get a grail that you need to take into one of your castles and you get more creature growth and more money. That's kind of lame, isn't it, you know? More army. Wow, that's crazy. But whatever, maybe that's just me. I don't know. More gold, please. Ballistics, I'll take it. You meet a barbarian traveler in the pass. He tells you that he has come from the north to see the world. After you tell him your story, he says, "Always knew wizards were treacherous. Except you, of course. Here, take this. I don't need it anymore. It's too hot here. The ice cloak halves all the damage from cold spells. It's, you know, it's not much, but it's honest work. You enter Medalis' wasteland. As you survey the bleak landscape, you wonder whether you will come out alive again." We'll see about... Oh, finally the diplomacy! This is it. We won. That's it. That's money. Also, diplomacy, obviously, it's super broken in these games, but that makes it fun, you know? Look at this. Allows the hero to negotiate with monsters who are weaker than the army and reduces the cost of surrendering, which is not going to come into play anyway. But 25% of the creatures may join the hero. If you get the expert diplomacy, you get all the troops, if you have the money, which we will almost surely have for sure. But also, you need to have a significant army to be able to convince those guys to join you. So, you know, it's one of those things. But the interesting part is that you know that you've seen that some guys will flee before you if you're too strong. Well, diplomacy triggers before that, actually. So you don't need to be that strong to convince some guys to join you. Exhibit A, hopefully. Fingers crossed. I don't know about this, but... not even... We're also dead. Jesus Christ. Oh my. Oh, the humanity. Right. Well then. Let's get the hell out of here. Well, I loaded. That's fine. It is what it is. You meet an old man huffing and puffing as he drags a large ballista behind him. He says that he is an inventor and the ballista is one of his creations. After you tell him of your mission, he smiles delightedly. "Say, would you take this thing? I hate dragging it around, and you could test it in action." Right, so the Ballista of Quickness gives the hero's catapult 1 extra shot per combat round. It's situational, but it's not too bad. What about an interesting spell? Steel Skin. Not my first choice, you know. But it'll do. You see the ogres ahead. They are defending the pass to Yellowstone. Horde of ogres. I don't think this is such a good idea, so let's get out of here. Well, this is the town that we need to get. Am I really gonna go back? I guess. Stupid. We are significantly stronger. Let's see the power of diplomacy. Okay. 5 of the... Yeah, sure. We'll take them. Alright. We're getting stronger. The power of money. Infinite money. Damn it, where's the diplomacy advanced? Jesus Christ. This is not good. However, check it out. I don't care about the losses. Jesus Christ, this is insane. Anyway, we have Trees of Knowledge, which will help us level up more significantly. Here we go. Diplomacy, boys! No. Never mind. Diplomacy! It's crazy. Archery, I'll take it. What in the world is this? Stupid wizards. Well, we found a town, Blue Tower. Are they gonna be strong? Hopefully not, but probably yes. Let's see, if we get this one, it's kind of over. But it's a big if, you know. As you approach Blue Tower, you see many troops behind the fence. Centaurs stand ready with their bows, while Minotaurs sharpen their axes. Hydras slither along the moat. Griffins and even some dragons circle overhead. Then a Reggio, the town's warlock ruler, appears. He says, "Turn back, mageling. We have no wish to involve ourselves in the affairs of you puny wizards." Glorious victory. There we go. They're not too strong. And this guy doesn't have many spells, I wouldn't think so. The Hydras can be dealt with from a distance. That's kind of cool. Well, these spells kind of suck, but it's alright. It's fine. Let's blast those guys. Try to block even though... Curse. That's kind of devastating for us. Look at that. The damage range is kind of high. But still. Well, he's protected. Massive success. Sort of. Not really. However, hope to get lucky. Come on, boys. Never mind. Never mind. Alright. Okay. If I would have had a haste, it would have been so good. But we don't. So, it is what it is. But... Let me blast this guy. Wait. Do your worst. A cheeky blind? Asking shall be given. Easy. Maybe bait this guy in this direction. He's gonna be stupid, so he's gonna attack that and move farther away from our dude. Which is good. Right? True and real. Well, guys, let's blast him. Nice. Dead. It's alright. Come on, boy. He's not that stupid. That's fine. I don't think it matters to be too tactical here, so I might as well just attack him anyway. Get out of there. Let's get out of here. Nice. Nice again. This guy's kind of dead, but let's see. The Trusty Bless, that's going to be a blind as well. 20% of the time, it works every time. I'm telling you. Oh man. That's how it goes. Had no doubts, by the way. 5 will die. I think that's okay. Boom. Would you die? Never mind. Well, it's alright. Diplomacy finally. Diplomacy advanced. But it's too late, because we got 10 dragons plus summon Earth Elemental. Holy shout, stuff like that. Guys, it's pretty much over. Expert Wisdom. Let's get that summon Earth Elemental and be done with this. Dragon City. Alright, as you approach the Dragon City, a sense of uncertainty forms in your mind. Will you be able to persuade the city's powerful guardians to lend you their help against Mandalis? Yes, I do believe so. I think yes. Alright, there you go, 2 dragons, easy. Now the question is, can we actually fight this guy so quickly? I don't know. At last, something to drink. Nice. Guys, it's just a joke at this point. I need that diplomacy, and I need it fast. This is the Mandalis' first line of defense. Rocks swoop down from the crags and hover before you. This is easy. Whoa. I'm sorry, what? Well, let's see it. Boom. Well, there you go. Pretty insane. Do you know what I would prefer to do? Protect those, you know, dragons a bit. Maybe attack here. Only be attacked by 3 guys at once. We'll see. Right. And move here. There we go. Alright. Wow, these guys are strong. Stronger than I expected. Meteor shower, boys. Ooh. How about a blind? Man, that's kind of crazy, actually. Would you please? There is enough room there. I don't like that. But alright, fine. Still lost 2. Fine, I understand. Never mind. Expert diplomacy? Yes, sir. I think this might be it. One defense, lots of giants. There's gonna be a titan as well, but I think we can end it. Potentially. Ooh, okay. Good thing is, we can always curse them. Right. Well, guys, I'm gonna wait for them to get into position. Yes, that's it. Wow. The perfect meteor shower. Oh, thank you so much. Wow. Insane. Right, well, there you go. You're asking for it. Ooh. Okay. Well, let's just take care of the retaliation here just because, and then go in. Potentially, right? Alright, here we go. It's gonna be great. Nice. Alright, take your best shot. Meteor shower again. Oh, man. Right. That's fine. Are we there yet? Lots of titans. There's also an ultimate artifact, but who has time for this? Mandalis is a greater library, guarded by his servants. Throng of Eric Magi. If we would convince these guys to join, it would be insane. But kind of too much to ask, I guess. The great thing about maps like this is that you can take your time. It doesn't matter, you can do whatever. You can finish it in like 1 year, in-game time. No issues, nobody cares. Not really, anyway. Well, let's see the ogres. We're finally ready. That's interesting. I can't be bothered with that. That's fine. However, are we ready for another one? Yes, I think so. You idiots. Whatever. Leadership, I'll take it. Okay. Wow, that's pitiful. Whoa, here we go. Whoa, 13 dragons! Man. Okay, we're ready. I do believe we're ready. What about spells? Mirror Image, Chain Lightning, Town Gate, stuff like that. Okay. No haste, by the way, of course. As always, no freaking haste. Damn it. Every time. Visions? Wow. I think we're ready to convince more sorceresses to join us. Unicorns. Yes. Don't have that much money anymore, which is a shame. You know what, son? It has come to this. The trading post, and I'm gonna use everything that I have to get more money. And then to convince maybe some druids to help me out. Oh, it's gonna be great. So insane. Alright. But the question is, are they gonna join a throng of druids? Well, this is where divisions come in to play. Blah, blah. They will join for 77,000 gold. Thank you, Visions. And what about these guys? Everybody will join? Okay. Orcs as well. Huh. Whatever. Alright, I have your money. Oh, 220, dude. What the hell? These guys will join for more, but I think we should wait a bit. Damn, son, that's incredibly powerful. As you see ahead, you see the greater druids and their pet unicorns guarding the holy relics of their faith. Look at this, lightning helm and lightning rod. I'll take those. I have chain lightning as well. Insane. What about the trusty visions? They're in the mood for a fight, you bastards. Unicorns will join, though, for not a lot of gold. Huh. How many vampires are there, man? Well, well. Unicorns. Can we talk about this? Can we just, talk? Yes! Alright. What about now? Visions. Mood for a fight. You goddamn... How stronger do these guys think they are? Never mind. Several black dragons. This is nothing. Visions will flee. Damn it. Black dragons. Why? Anyway, we can get a sword and a bunch of riches, even though this is kind of pitiful at this point. Hey, unicorns. Hey. Alright. I'll take that. Thank you very much. Easy. Dude, look how insane diplomacy actually is in this game. And I won't have it any other way. 3 attack, thanks. More unicorns. I need more. That's right. Graveyard. You know, I've heard that from a graveyard you can actually get an ultimate artifact, but I've never seen it. Icicle. That's pretty good, actually, you know? Well, maybe there's someone living here after all. Someone who does not want to be disturbed a lot. Xanadu. More stats. Nice. Ultimate artifact. I see where it is. Okay, guys, I feel like we dilly-dallied a bit too much. What about the Titans? What do you... 82 Titans, wow. 730 Arc Magi. Wow, dude, what the... What in the world? Alright, are we dead? You approach your master's last line of defense. Are we dead? Hopefully not, but probably yes. Oh, no. Wow. It was actually way weaker than I thought. Right, so... It is said that a black dragon will always destroy a titan, any day. But we don't quite have black dragons. What about a trusty chain lightning? Check it out. Not bad. Morale blood, would you please? Never mind. I'm losing a bit too much, but we are strong, though. Nice one, son. Oh ho! Chain lightning, would you please? Chain lightning, boys. Easy. Damn it. The little cactus is in the way. Why? Another one. Ooh. Don't bother. Alright, As the titans fall, you move into the valley. Suddenly, you feel like walking straight into a web of magical power. When you feel it strain and break, your master appears on the castle wall and screams, "So, little apprentice, you dare to walk in here and disrupt my spell? Come, then, and let us see what you've got." Well, this might be a bit tough, actually. I'm not so sure. Throng, don't let that deceive you. Wow, that's crazy. Might as well wait a bit. Zounds of magi. Really? Damn, son. However, if I could have gotten them to join us. That would have been interesting, but still. They're strong, I have to say. But these smaller guys will be able to join us. Alright, there we go. Slow and steady, boys. I don't really know what could help us here. Maybe a haunt? Haunt! Hey! You know what's the best thing that you can do with haunt? Haunt your own mind, just get more experience and fight your own ghosts. Look at that. It's not much, but it's honest work. And in this version of Heroes, because of the quick combat, we can do this indefinitely, just level up as much as possible, as long as the mana allows us. That's crazy, right? But is it sufficient? Is it tedious? Yes. Am I gonna do it a lot? Probably not. Spell power +1. It's happening, boys. It's a bit too tedious, unfortunately. But still. Guys, we got unicorn population doubles yet again. That's insanely lucky. Not that it matters that much. Well, we got the ultimate sword of dominion, +12 attack. Nobody's gonna stand in our way. Look at these stats. Incredible. Alright, boys, the final battle is upon us. I'm not too confident about this one, but here goes nothing. Oh, wow. The enemy has surrendered, and that it wasn't even close. His stats are low. It must be. 84 titans, and they surrendered. Oh, 3 attack, 2 defense. Oh, absolute cinema. Easy. Guys, that's incredible. Well, let's just say, hypothetically, a chain lightning here, for now, and block this guy from shooting, and then go in with the dragon and everybody dies. I'd say. Wow, that's pitiful. That's crazy. Boom. Ooh, one shot. What about another one shot? God damn. Alright, boys. Man. Okay. The stats are incredible. God damn. Would you please, somebody get lucky at some point? Right? Lightning bolt. As, well, curse. Fine. Take care of the retaliation. There we go. Okay, not what I meant. I meant me. I should get lucky or get morale. It'll do. It'll do. Here we go. Dead. What about you, son? Ho ho! Oh, there we get into such that everybody dies. Or maybe not. He's gonna surrender, isn't he? Idiot. Idiot. Oh, absolute idiot. Anyway, well, that was it. Right. Oh, that was great. And also, this screen right here, why don't we have this in Olden Era? Oh, it's gonna be added later, right? Of course. Or Filamental. Yeah, I dilly-dally too much, but it doesn't matter, really. All that matters is to have fun. And I certainly did. Hopefully you did as well. Subscribe, and maybe check out the other videos on the channel, because I covered, here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sometimes, stuff like that, you know. I'm sure you can find something interesting there. Anyway, I'll see you next time.